What's up everyone, James here, and I am super excited because today I am covering Skybound's Transformers issue 1 that just recently dropped. For those of you who haven't read this issue yet, this video is going to blow your minds. However, I highly recommend picking up your own copy because this is written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, and the writing, artwork, and colors done by Mike Spencer is absolutely incredible. Okay, so this begins with a few flashbacks of the Transformers crash landing on Earth, Sparkplug with Wiki's flashbacks of the Vietnam War, and a flashback of a space shuttle launching. That flashback in particular, we're going to return to in a second. But from here, we go to Spike finding Sparkplug in a Veterans of Foreign Wars bar after searching for him everywhere. At the same time, a bar patron is telling the bartender Danny that he saw a red and white fighter jet come down from space. Now, if you know who this fighter jet is, right now pause this video and comment below. Be the first one to do it. Now, through this conversation between Spike and Sparkplug, we learn he tries to initially lie to Spike, telling him that he was running errands and hasn't been at the bar long, until Danny reveals he's been there all day. Now, why Sparkplug is at the bar drinking all day? Part of it could be he doesn't want to think about the trauma and loss he endured during the Vietnam War, but what seems to be a bigger part of his drinking, and the real driving indicator here, is what we learn in his and Spike's conversation, is he lost a son. Just like I surmised in my preview video of this issue, Jimmy, who they're talking about, is Spike's brother. It seems like his death has caused a huge rift in their relationship, where one of them wants to remember Jimmy and the other one wants to forget about him because the pain is just too much to endure. We quickly learn this when Spike tells Sparkplug that he's going to check out the full moon tonight on top of Hangar's Rock with Carly, and admits this is his way of remembering his brother. Sparkplug's response to this is, "Why would you want to remember? It's better to just forget it all." Spike replies, "Is that how you're going to live? Just pretending that he didn't exist? I'm not gonna end up like him, Dad." Now, this reveals yet another cause of the rift in their relationship. I'm kind of jumping ahead here because this will be revealed later during a conversation with Carly, but as we learned in the preview video, Spike wants to become an astronaut. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would that be a problem? Well, remember that flashback of the shuttle launching, and then we see that same shuttle during Spike and Sparkplug's conversation explode? I'm willing to bet that we'll eventually learn Jimmy was an astronaut and died in that failed launch. I think we'll also learn eventually Spike's reason to become an astronaut is not only to pay respect and homage to Jimmy, but also prove to his father that he won't meet the same fate. Now, Davey, Sparkplug's best friend and co-worker, interrupts their conversation, offering to give Sparkplug a ride to work. Spike and Sparkplug's conversation comes to an end with Sparkplug telling Spike to grow up, and Spike responding, not if it means he'll end up like him. As Davey drives off, waiting outside for Spike is Carly with her awesome looking van here that has a mural of a wizard inspired by the animated version of Gandalf, a warrior inspired by Conan the Barbarian, and a castle and a dragon. I tried to check and see if the castle and the dragon were inspired by anything, but it seems like they just are what they are. Sometime later, Carly and Spike arrive at Hangar's Rock. Now, in the original animated series, this mountain was called Mount St. Hilary, so it seems like Johnson renamed it. Now, this is where we get into a few of the images we covered in the preview video, but don't worry, for those of you new here, I'm still going to cover them. As Spike and Carly are walking up the mountain, through their conversation we learn Spike was accepted at Berkeley University, but hasn't told Sparkplug yet. Carly, who is an airbrush artist, has been looking at art schools, but financially she doesn't know if she and her father can make it work. For those of you who may not know this, Carly, like Sparkplug and Spike, is originally from the 80s Transformers series. I really like that Johnson is establishing her and Spike's relationship right from the beginning. Even though she has struggles of her own, she sees Spike's family struggle and tells him how sorry she is that he's going through this. As the pair share this intimate moment, suddenly an earthquake occurs, and they both fall through the mountain and end up in the Autobots' Ark. They explore the ship and find the main control room where they discover all the unconscious bodies of the Transformers. At that moment, who flies into the Ark, I call this, is Jetfire. So it seems like after being awakened by Darak and Solila in Void Rivals, Instead of going to Cybertron like we thought he would, Jetfire has come to Earth. But what's unclear here is how he knew the Transformers were on Earth and how he tracked their position. But anyways, Jetfire mentions he used most of his Energon to trigger the earthquake in order to free the Ark from the mountain trap it was in. He activates Teletran 1 and uploads new forms that are Earth vehicles he's analyzed for the Transformers. Now this is starkly different from the original show, where a volcanic eruption unearthed the Ark and activated Teletran 1. Teletran 1 sent a sky probe to scan Earth's vehicles and gave the Transformers new forms. Now the first spot that's repaired and reactivated is Starscream. Jetfire says, "My old friend, I have not seen you in centuries." This is weird, because for those of you who've been following Void Rivals, he mentioned he's been gone for millions of years. So there's a little bit of an inconsistency there. Starscream thanks Jetfire for waking him and says, "I'm glad you've picked the right side." He then blasts the face off of Bumblebee's body. Literally like that. This shocks Jetfire, because remember, he's unaware that a civil war has been going on Cybertron. Starscream tells him they've been at war for the past 100 years. Now Jetfire tries to stop Starscream from causing further damage, but Starscream quickly turns his weapon on his old friend and blasts Jetfire just like that, no hesitation. He tells Jetfire that the Autobot marking is a sign of true evil. Just as Starscream is about to blast his next unconscious target, Jazz, out of nowhere, Optimus Prime, now awakened, clothesline Starscream, and the can of whoop ass isn't over. Optimus then hits him with a German suplex, breaking his back, son. Spike and Carly try to use the chaos to escape, but they end up coming face to face with Optimus. He asks them what they are, and Spike introduces himself. Their meeting, though, doesn't last long, because Starscream starts to unleash an array of blaster fire towards them. Luckily, though, Ratchet intervenes, hitting Starscream with a big boot to the face. I'm starting to think Daniel Warren Johnson is a wrestling fan. Ratchet helps Optimus to his feet, but the reunion has to wait because Starscream's fellow Seeker arrives, Skywarp. He fires upon them both. Starscream quickly realizes that Teletran 1 is reconstructing them randomly and orders Skywarp to bring all the Decepticons closer to it. At the same time, Optimus realizes the Decepticons are about to outnumber him and Ratchet. He orders Ratchet to load all the Autobots into his trailer while he buys him time. He runs for his ion blaster, but at that moment, my boy, Soundwave activates and he immediately fires upon Optimus, knocking him and his blaster. As he's recovering from the blast and the flames from it surround him, Optimus sees through them and notices Bumblebee's body. He sees the damage Starscream has done and for a moment falls into despair, holding his dear friend in his arms. This explains why Bumblebee isn't a part of the initial roster. He's fallen. Suddenly, Optimus is attacked by Starscream and Ravage. As he is being attacked by them both, he tries reaching for his ion blaster. Spike, seeing all this, runs into the fray. He pushes Optimus's blaster and tells Carly to help. They both manage to get it within Prime's reach. He then blasts Ravage off of him, knocks back Starscream, and quickly dodges Skywarp's attack. Optimus then sees Teletran 1 about to reactivate even more Decepticons, Thundercracker and Reflector. Left with no choice, he says, "I'm sorry, Teletran. We are outnumbered and outgunned." He fires at Teletran 1, completely destroying it. Optimus grabs Spike and Carly and runs toward Ratchet as Teletran 1 explodes. Starscream orders Soundwave and Thundercracker to attack, but they both inform him their Energon reserves are low. Optimus and Ratchet transform and roll out of the Ark. However, Starscream and Skywarp begin the hunt. At that moment, Jetfire regains consciousness. He sees the Seekers attacking the fleeing Autobots, and though he is severely injured, he still flies to the Autobots' aid. Now, even though he wishes he didn't have to, he fires at Starscream and Skywarp. Unfortunately, the blow he landed on them doesn't slow them down. because Starscream quickly fires back, fatally wounding Jetfire. Starscream orders Skywarp to continue the pursuit of the Autobots, but Skywarp reminds him his Energon reserves are critically low. So for the moment, the Decepticons are forced to retreat. Starscream yells at Optimus in frustration, saying, "Sleep with one eye open, Optimus. I am coming for you." Later, Spike leads the Autobots to this abandoned quarry he and his brother used to hang out at. Optimus goes to Jetfire, and this is where we learn why Jetfire was exploring the universe. Jetfire asks Optimus for forgiveness and tells him he's been gone for centuries and had no idea about the war and didn't know he was the new Prime. Optimus mentions to Jetfire he remembers the day he left Cybertron and that much has changed since he left, and all for the worse. Optimus tries to use the Matrix of Leadership to save Jetfire, but Ratchet informs him the Matrix can only heal, it cannot stop death. Jetfire apologizes, swearing he didn't know. Optimus says, "You have nothing to apologize for, old friend. You have done well." Jetfire replies, "No, I have not. I have searched for centuries for healing for our home and found nothing." He asks Optimus if there's any hope for Cybertron, and Optimus answers, "I do not know." Jetfire's dying words are, "I have failed my mission. Cybertron will die. Everything will die." Back on the Ark, Soundwave analyzes the damage to Teletran 1 and explains to Starscream that the damage is beyond their current capabilities of repair. They need more Energon and raw materials to bring it back online. That Laserbeak, who he sent out earlier, has already sent back coordinates of possible sources of Energon. He points out to Starscream he is the only one amongst them with enough Energon to harvest the resources they need. Now, just when he's about to say it's what Megatron would have wanted, Starscream interrupts him, saying, "Do not say his name. I am the leader of the Decepticons now." Didn't I tell you all he was gonna say this? The next day, as Sparkplug and Davey are ending their overnight shift, Davey tries to talk to Sparkplug about his relationship with Spike and the hardships he's had to endure. However, Sparkplug doesn't want to hear it. He snaps at Davey. Their conversation, though, is interrupted by Starscream, who is destroying the plant they work at. He is gathering the materials that Decepticons need. Now, he's pissed off and complaining about how he has to do all this by himself. Davey tries to run to his car and escape, while Sparkplug decides to hide inside the plant. Once Starscream notices him, he grabs Davey and points out how fragile humans are. He then squishes Davey's body, and that's the end of Davey, and that's the end of Skybound's Transformers issue 1. My god, did we have some major deaths take place. Now all of you understand why I titled this video Death of a Friend. I cannot wait for the next issue and for the rest of this series. I'm excited to see where Skybound and Daniel Warren Johnson takes us on this journey. Comment below what you all thought about this. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want to join this new journey, new era of Transformers with me. Other than that, have an awesome day, and always remember every day to transform and go beyond.